Welcome to Tools for Teens, where the smart get smarter. In today's lesson, we look at how to use AI for video generation. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Tools for Teens. This is where the smart get smarter, and today we're looking at video generation. So because AI is advancing so rapidly and every 3 days there's a new video tool on the scene, for that reason, in this lesson, I'm rather going to focus on workflows, and I'm going to show you what I've done in the past to produce e-learning products. Hopefully that inspires you to use the tools to produce your own product. And at the end of this lesson, we'll look at a brand new tool that just came out, and I'll give you some extra bonus tips. Let's get into it. So the Abuti syllabus is one of the products that we've been developing for over 10 years. And a new product that we just launched was this Little Big Five, which is super cute. And it's all about these cute characters that interact with each other and at the end of the day, teach good morals to young learners. And that brings me to my first point, because if you think about it, anyone can generate a video, but the why behind the video, I think that's the thing I want to focus on. What story would you like to tell? So here you can see how the idea evolved. I went to ChatGPT and I said, please write me a 1-minute story for a children's storybook that teaches good morals. The story should teach children that even little white lies are not acceptable. ChatGPT then came up with a cute little story, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted. So then there was a little bit of back and forth. So I said, let's make the following adjustments and rewrite the story. This is something that you, as the human in the loop, will have to do to make sure that you produce a high quality product at the end of the day. So then I said, I love it. Let's explore some more names for our rhino character. And we ended up with Jabari. So then I said, let's create a personality for this character. And I quite liked what ChatGPT came up with, a hyper-conscientious and disciplined rhino. Great. The next step was to create a super cute 3D render style image of Jabari. And what you'll see here is that I built out elaborate prompts to describe our Little Big Five characters. And you can read the whole prompt for yourself. I will include this in the guide section. But the main idea is to create a character that is unique and that can be easily recognized even if the character consistency is not 100%. So this was ChatGPT's first attempt. And even though very cute, he didn't really get the purple eyes perfectly. And I tried again, which didn't really match what I was looking for. The third one was closer. So now you can see the purple is present. And as you can see, it's back and forth, trial and error. And at the end of the day, I think this was the closest to what I wanted. The next step is to place your character within scenes. Now, there are many ways of doing this. Shout out to Marco, the Magic Man, that helped me with all of these illustrations, because if you look at this image, this is actually the exact same image that ChatGPT gave us. And Marco could remove the background and put Jabari in this scene where he's actually taking a shower. So the better you get at mixing and matching tools, the easier it will be for you at the end of the day to produce the image and the scene that you then want to animate. Here is another example of a shot that we had of Jabari, and we just outpainted the shot and outpainted again. And let's look at the end result quickly.
In the middle of the South African savannah lives a confident rhino named Jabari. Jabari loves to sing and believes he has the best voice in the land. But unfortunately, that is not true.
So let me quickly show you what I used to put all of that together. Pika was one of the main platforms that I used to animate the Little Big Five series. So here you can see a few examples of our scared little elephant named Tembo being animated. And it's as easy as uploading an image and then giving the AI a little bit of context. It's not always going to be perfect, so there's a little bit of trial and error, but I think Pika did a pretty good job. In a few minutes, I'll show you how this is done. Another character that we recently launched was Bobo the Curious Balloon, and I show you how I came up with this idea from beginning to end in this video called How to Bring a Character to Life. Check it out, AI Tools Unit 4.3. But to recap, I was inspired by the short film made by Shy Kids using the Sora platform. And what you can see here, they prompt for a character that is unique and easily recognizable, even though the consistency is not 100%. So it's just a yellow balloon on top of a human's body. So coming back to this main idea of why you build the videos, I think Bobo is a great example of taking a simple character and a simple idea and turning that into something valuable. Okay, so let me show you how easy video generation actually is. This is a new tool called Sky Reels. I've never used this before. I actually just opened the website. It seems like I have 50 free credits, and I'm going to choose the create option over here. So just like with all video generators, you will have basic settings like aspect ratio, for example. Here I can choose between 16:9, which is more of a YouTube video, or 9:16, which is more of an Instagram reel. Let's keep it on 16:9. I can also choose the duration of the clip. I'm going to keep it on 5 seconds for now. And in Sky Reels, it seems like we have an option between an auto and a stable mode. Stable mode seems to offer more reliable, consistent performance every time. I'm going to go for stable mode. And now you can choose between creating a video just from text or uploading an image. We're going to go for uploading an image because that's where the power really lies in video generation. I'm going to upload an image of Daniel working on his computer, and now I can choose to crop the image so I can zoom in a little bit or keep it as is. I'm going to keep it as is. Okay, and the final step is to guide the AI a little bit more with a prompt. A blonde teenager wearing a green hoodie working on his laptop. Let's see what Sky Reels comes up with. So in the meantime, I'm going to show you another platform that we use to animate the images of tools for teens. And for this, we mainly used Halua. Check out the video where I show you how the Tools for Teens course was created, and there you can see how I used Halua. Here you can see that Jessica has been animated, and I think Halua does a really good job of animating 2D and anime type characters. And here's a little bonus hack for you. This is called the Minimax Cinemotion Prompter. I want to thank Tim for putting this together. This is one of the channels that I follow on YouTube to really understand what is possible with video generation. So how does this Minimax GPT work? Well, it turns your simple prompt into something elaborate and beautiful that you can then plug back into Halo or any video generator model for that matter. So let's take this prompt, a blonde teenager wearing a green hoodie working on his laptop, and see what this GPT does with the prompt. Okay, so now you can see it's taken my basic prompt and turned it into something really beautiful and cinematic. So a blonde teenager in a vibrant green hoodie sits hunched over his laptop, his fingers flying across the keyboard with intense focus. And at the bottom, it gives it even more detail. So ultra smooth, coherent movement, shot with IMAX camera, masterpiece quality, etc., etc. And it goes even one step further because it translates this into Chinese. So some of these video generators are Chinese-based video generators, and it seems like you sometimes get better results if you use the Chinese. And because Chinese characters work differently, you can get in a lot more using the Chinese language than English language. So just a little extra tip. I actually want to plug this prompt into Sky Reels and see what it does if we go text to video. Let's quickly see what it did with our image to video. So if I press play here, you can see there's decent movement and it looks pretty consistent and coherent. All right, so now I'm going to delete this image and I'm going to plug that prompt that we just created with our Minimax GPT into Sky Reels. Okay, and I already see a challenge because Sky Reels does not allow for such a large prompt. So I'm going to delete all the way up until there, and I'm just going to add anime comic book style, and let's see what it does with that. Okay, and here you can see that we have our anime sort of comic book style character. It's not quite Daniel, but if we press play, we'll see that there's a bit of a zoom in, bit of motion on his mouth. Not exactly what I was hoping for. And this is the thing about video generators. It's not perfect. It's back and forth, but you get the idea. Cool stuff. I hope this was useful, and I can't wait to see what you create with video generation tools. It's getting crazy and it's advancing very rapidly. So stay adaptable. I'll see you in the next one.